I ranked all 36 goals and 8 assists of Haaland's 22-23 season from worst to best, despite the predictions of his genius doubters.
Erling Haaland will not live up to the expectation.
What's the basis? What's the thinking behind that?
Haaland had what most would consider a mildly successful campaign. But among all the success, were his contributions actually any good? Welcome back to Ice Pack Sports, the internet's coldest football show. I'm your host Ian, and today we're kicking off a brand new series where I'm going to be ranking every goal and assist of football's greatest ever individual seasons, starting with the one fresh on everyone's minds, despite rival fans doing their very best to wipe it from their memories. Erling Haaland's domination of the Premier League. Scraping the bottom of the barrel, we've got a set of tap-ins that not even Chelsea's number 9 curse can prevent. Haaland's biggest critics love complaining that all he scores are tap-ins, and that City does all the work just for him to receive the credit. And typically, I'd jump into his defense, but these clips do not help his case. These goals make his doubters saying he'd struggle to score goals look as bad in hindsight as Pep crying over Aguero leaving.
We cannot replace him. We cannot.
And speaking of being over-dramatic, somebody needs to let Jose Sa know that faking his death won't get him out of that nightmare of a pass. And if you thought that was a nightmare, imagine being a goalkeeper, just trying to clear the ball, and seeing this gigantic Nordic meat shield flying towards you.
What the? Hey!
That was one of the most terrifying things I've ever done.
These finishes are slightly trickier than the last, despite being closer to the line than Quincy Promes after smuggling 1,300 kilos of cocaine into the Netherlands. Unlike Promes with the border, in these next two clips, Haaland was able to pass without getting stopped. These two mouth-watering assists put the ball on an absolute platter and are right up there in the all-time assists book with Busquets to Messi.
Demonic skill from Sergi. Picks the right, pass out of his pocket. Messi catapults it home.
But if he ever wants to touch Messi's prolificacy in front of net, he's got to crank up the shamelessness. He's off to a good start with 7 penalties in his first season, but he's got to juice up those numbers. Can't see any of this tomfoolery of giving pens away to Mahrez. Leaving the pens behind like Florentino Perez looking at strikers that don't resemble Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Skip. But when does this game get fucking good?
We've got 5 cutbacks that Haaland ripped into the net as hard as Walker trying to take off Bernardo Silva's head. With the ease of which he loses his defenders in the box, you'd totally forget that he is a 6'5" Norwegian tank. If defenders can't keep track of him when he's the size of a semi-truck, just imagine how hard it would be if he was any smaller. For a unit as big as him, you'd expect his on-the-ball abilities to be a little bit limited. And they are. But this next pair of assists prove that he's leveling up that part of his game too. He's still no Kevin De Bruyne, but he's starting to prove that he could pass more than just a blood test. Next up, we've got a clean finish from the edge of the box against Arsenal that absolutely gets bonus points for his luscious locks flowing in the wind. He's looking fit to join the list of badges that could double as shampoo logos. I mean, how have Nunez and Haaland not been cast in a Head & Shoulders commercial? We've then got 2 examples of what happens when you give Erling space to run into. There's no point even trying to take him down once he gets in front of you, because we've seen on multiple occasions that even in that case, he still comes out on top.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me.
Along with his hold-up play, another criticism of his game is that he scores an underwhelming amount of headers for a big man. But as he already started to show with his assists, he was constantly upgrading his software as the season went on. There really is only one way to stop him.
Things are just lights and clockwork.
After years of having his chances squandered left, right, and center, De Bruyne finally has somebody who can dig out the difficult finishes and put the ball in the net consistently. Poor guy though, being forced to watch from the physio room, adding to his imaginary assist tally with every goal Haaland scores. And these next two passes show that De Bruyne may be assisting Haaland more than just what we see on the pitch. From one pale blonde to another, Haaland is slowly absorbing some of De Bruyne's passing abilities, doing what neither are capable of with UV rays. After all the talk about Haaland coming from a farmers league,
I came from the Farmer League or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call Germany.
you'd think that the Premier League, the most competitive league in the world, the most physical league in the world, would cause him even a slight issue, but nope. The way that he manhandles his defenders shows that the real farmers are the friends you make along the way. And to emphasize that Haaland has in fact turned the Premier League into a farmers league, these next two goals have Haaland running at, or more appropriately, through defenders like they're not even there. It's no wonder he nearly outscored Chelsea on his own last season, and with 6 goals in his first 4 games, he's on his way to running it back. Now before we get into the top 5, quick reminder to subscribe, as each subscriber represents a fan in the Ice Pack Stadium, and I dream of filling the biggest stadium in the world. We currently reside in the Estadio Regional de Chinchipe in Chile, but as soon as we outgrow it, we can move on to something even more exciting, so let's push for that upgrade. In 5th, we have his beautiful chip against West Ham. Here we see Rice, knowing that he's leaving West Ham in the summer after attempting to deal with Haaland's 347th run in behind. Just to remember, he's still gonna have to play him with Arsenal. In 4th, we have his powerful run and finish against Wolves. We even got to see Jose Sa return from the dead just to be embarrassed yet again. Maybe he should just take up his alternate career path.
If you weren't a footballer, what job would you be in? Singer.
On second thought, maybe not. That's just another thing Haaland hasn't beat at. In 3rd, we have his ridiculous goal against Brighton. I'm not sure what was better, the insane full pitch assist from Ederson, or Haaland taking it out of the sky, outmuscling his defender, and getting past the keeper without breaking a sweat. I've genuinely seen him having more problems getting past a water cooler. In 2nd place, we surprisingly have an assist for his great play against Aston Villa, showing off his insane athleticism to even get to the ball, his great control to get to the byline, and a beautiful driven cross into a tight gap, putting in as much work for this goal as that one glass of water Grealish had in his 2 weeks post-treble win. And finally, we've got a massive jump, not only in terms of quality, but also just literally with his bicycle against Southampton for the top spot. To throw around his frame the way that he does, it is a miracle he doesn't get injured more often. The last time we saw a big man with that level of mobility, it also happened to be a ponytail-bearing Nordic man. I don't know what they're feeding them up there, but whatever it is, it's working. And that concludes our list. The overall quality may be nothing to write home about, but it definitely gives some insight as to why there's a petition to have him removed from the league. Let me know which iconic season you'd like to see next, and as always, thanks for watching, and stay icy.